video, I am going to be talking to you about how to survive finals, because whether we like to admit it or not, they're coming along with the holidays, but we have to get the hard work out of the way first before we start to celebrate. So with this video, I was hoping to share with you some of my personal tips on how I deal with the big final exam periods, and hopefully this helps you out. So without further ado, let's get to point number one, which is start early. I know a lot of you, myself included, have a tendency to leave the studying to the last minute, aka the last week, aka the last weekend until the finals come. I highly advise against that, although I admit it's possible, but for the sake of this video, I just really strongly want to encourage you to start as early as you can. So I would suggest if you have more than 3 finals, start 2 weeks earlier, even 3 if you, let's say in the ideal world, we would start 3 weeks early, because it's a lot of stuff to study, and this will help you, it will help prevent anxiety and just the full-on stress, no shower for a month type of feeling you have 2 days before the exam. So definitely, if you can, start early. Start to study early, because I know deep down we all know when the finals are, but we just don't want to admit it. We just don't. Second tip I have for you is to separate the subjects you need to study. So during the finals, I usually had like 5 or 6 exams, and it was a lot of material, and the material was pretty much similar or like linked together because it was all psychology, right? So social psych versus interpersonal relationships, kind of like, oh my god, the theories sound kind of the same. And then the most horrible thing that ever happened to me personally, I don't know about you, but is mixing topics, and that is what we want to avoid at all costs. So what you have to do, I mentioned this in a lot of previous videos, is separate all the subjects. So put math in one pile, social psych in one pile, history in another. Don't blend it all together. Make sure it is clearly separated. Like I mentioned before, you can use colors to distinguish each subject. Again, this will help your brain to focus on each subject, and also, most importantly, like I said, avoid anxiety and stress, which are like killer, not only for your physical, mental health, but it's also not good when you study because you don't remember anything. So let's just avoid the stress and focus on the rest, shall we? My next tip is pretty straightforward. You know me, I'm the planner type of person. I like lists, I like making everything clear in my mind, so of course I'm gonna push you and encourage you to plan your time, because as much as I hear people saying, oh yeah, I know what to do, it's all in here. Yeah, but me too, it's all in here, but it's in there like this, like a ball of yarn, like... I'm thinking of a kitten playing with the ball of yarn now. Great, sidetrack. But basically, you have to put it on paper so you know what you're doing, or on your iPhone, on your computer, you can start an Excel sheet or a time planner or a Nat chart, like just something that will make clear to you what you have to do, because final times means stress and panic and a lot of stuff, so it's gonna get confusing really fast, you're gonna be overwhelmed. Whereas when you just separate everything and say, okay, I have to study for math on Monday, that means just read 1 chapter or something, you see how more concrete it is? This is gonna make it more doable. It's gonna make little victories or little steps seem less big than just like, I have to study for finals. See how horrible that sounds? Whereas I have to read 2 chapters in math Monday, and then study for like 2 hours on Tuesday, and then do my practice test for like, let's say, 3 hours on Wednesday. Doesn't that sound like less of big, horrible like goals that you set yourself? It's just small things you have to do throughout the week to achieve the goal of getting prepared for the exam. So definitely plan your time. Moving on in relation to time, my next point is one thing at a time. The big no-no with finals is that you know you have a lot to do, and the you know you have a lot to do little voice is stuck in your head permanently, and by God, it is hard to shut that voice up. What I used to do when I had a lot of finals, so like 6 or 5 in the upcoming week, because they all like to bunch it in the same week, don't they? When I would study for, like, let's say abnormal psych, while I was studying, I was freaking out because I knew that I had to study for also perception, cognition, social psych, math, history, statistics. It was all in my brain. So I couldn't focus on what I was doing because in my mind it's like, oh my god, I have to finish studying this because then I have to study that and I have to do that and I have to do that, and I'm like, this is this, am I wasting my time? Do I know this? So it's gonna make you like pass out. We don't want that. We want you to be alive and well. So what I highly suggest you do, and this takes practice, believe me, I learned this in like my 3rd year of university, that you have to focus on one thing at a time. Today, all I have to do is study abnormal psychology. That's it. That's all I have to do. So you're in the zone, you can focus, you're relaxed, do not even think about, whoop, I hit a lamp. Don't even think about what you have to do next, because you need to focus on the present. When the future comes, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But first, let's get rid of this thing. So definitely, when you study or when you do any task, just focus on that and zone out everything else and just forget about everything else, because if not, you won't be able to focus on the present thing. You'll think about the other things, and I'm rambling, and basically one thing at a time. Thank you. And my last point, I find, is the most important one. When do I know I'm done studying? When is that closure really there? How do I know that, okay, I'm done to study for this topic, this exam, I'm ready for exam number 1, now I'm gonna move on to exam number 2, 3, and 4. How do you know when you finish studying for one final and you can move on to study for the next one? This, I find, is very hard to measure, but I found a way that personally, for me, it works 1000%. I spoke about this, and for those of you that watch my previous videos probably know what I'm gonna say, but the best way to achieve closure when you study is by writing a practice test. I know some of you don't like it. I'm gonna make a detailed video on how to do it. It's really not hard, and like the benefits are like insane. Do the practice tests and see how you do. If on math you get 95%, I'm pretty sure you can move on to the next subject, because that test you'll probably ace it. If on social psych you got 42%, you're like, okay, before moving on to the next test to study for, I should probably focus on social psych because I ain't doing so well. I ain't. So see, this gives you amazing feedback, and especially for finals, when you have so much to study for, how do you know you're ready for all those exams? So yes, I'm being pushy, do your practice tests, and you know what? Hey, if you have pictures of your practice tests with like your grade on it, just like send them to me or put them on my Facebook or something. That would just be awesome. So with that being said, I really hope you enjoyed my video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to me if you like what you see. I got your back, the finals are coming. This is all I'm gonna be talking about. Okay? Okay, we're good. Bye guys!